So today, my lovely Lillian is helping me out today. She's gonna be um, resting with me, I guess. So today you'll need a strap if you have 2 blocks and a blanket if you want some comfy padding for your knees. Again, strap, blocks, and blanket if you want the blanket. So I'm gonna get everything ready to start. Everyone's about to be muted. And I'll put the playlist one more time in the chat. So make sure you click it now. It is on our Spotify as public. Let's make sure about that. Yeah, it is public on our Spotify. So if you don't see it on the chat right now, it's there. And I turn the chat off. All right. Cool. Whew, like I said, it's really humid today in New England. So I'm going to be moving kind of slow. It's going to be a little bit of a slower class that does build up at some point, and there's a little bit of a flow to it. But mostly we're going to be stretching out the front of the thighs, the quads, and the hamstrings, back of the legs, and then we'll end with a little bit of split practice. It's not going to be super heavy lifting, super, fast chaturangas, fast vinyasas, unless you want that, in which case when we do get to the flow part, you can kind of make it your own speed if you wanted that fast pace class. So let's start my 1 second. I'll start my Instagram live. Thanks for joining, Lily. Sometimes she joins me. It's really cute. So we're starting today on our knees, seated on a block if you have it. Right, Lily? Or you can lay down like Lily if you just need a little moment. This is going to be very distracting for me because she's super cute. So we're starting on our knees, seated on the block. Unless you don't want to use the block, I just feel like it's a little bit comfier, especially when we're just starting. Rest your hands on your thighs, roll your shoulders down and back. I'll go ahead and start the playlist if you haven't already. It's a nice, slow, doomy stoner playlist. It'll fit perfect with the heat, with the slow movement and the deep stretches. Start to breathe, eyes are closed. Maybe take a few deep breaths and exhaling through the mouth. Maybe even audibly you exhale. Until you start that Ujjayi breath. Translates to victorious breath. Pranayama is a huge part of yoga. Breathing in energy. Exhaling apana, which you don't need anymore. Now go ahead, start breathing in and out through the nose. Slowly tilt your left ear to left shoulder. Continue to breathe here. Drop the right shoulder down towards the floor. Maybe gently lift the chin up, feeling a deeper stretch in the right side of the neck. Slowly lift the head and drop the right ear to right shoulder. Left shoulder is heavy. Maybe gently bringing the chin up towards the sky, getting a deeper stretch in the left side of the neck. Slowly lift the head. Let's drop the chin down to chest. Round the tailbone underneath. Keep the tailbone tucked underneath, and then lift the head and drop the head back. So we're not doing a cat-cow here. Slowly lift the head and drop the chin back to chest. Lift the head and drop it back. Lift the head, twist over to the right, bring your right fingertips behind you, your left hand to the right side of your right thigh, and look behind. Turn your chin all the way so it's almost in line with that right shoulder. Notice how far your neck will go, twisting to the right. Untwist back to center. And reach back with the left fingertips. Twist the left right hand on the outer left thigh. Turn to look all the way back behind you. Maybe you notice this twist is a little bit deeper or less deep than the other side. And slowly untwist. Left fingertips to left side, right arm over right ear. Bending the left elbow, left shoulder comes down. And right fingertips to floor to right side, left arm over left ear. Right elbow bends. Left hand comes down, fingertips on either side on the floor, lifting one knee at a time. So you're stretching out the top of each foot. Gently lifting one knee at a time. Nice. And come off the block. We're coming into a seat on our right hip, and we're fanning so our right knee is pointed forward and our left knee is pointed to the left, and then we're just fanning the feet in this position here. From here, we're gonna reach back with the right fingertips, and again, coming into a twist, this time a little bit deeper. The left hand comes to the top of the right knee, and then we twist to the right and behind. Sitting up nice and tall. Stretching all the way from the front of that left hip to the right obliques. She loves her belly rubbed. Good job. Thank you. Nice. From here, we're gonna grab our block, bringing the block to the left side, and we need our strap. The block is on the left side, right next to our left shin. We grab our strap. We're gonna take our strap in both hands, rest the left forearm on top of the left block, and then reach that right arm over right ear. You can always make your arms further apart. That feels better. Maybe drop the head down slightly and look up towards the right elbow. And slowly come up. This time we keep the strap in both hands. Excuse me, Lily, I need this side of my mat. We're gonna bring our right hand down to the floor, holding the strap with both hands still. So we're leaning to the right. Go ahead, drop the right shoulder, bend the right elbow. And we're gonna keep that left elbow bent and just kind of use this as an opportunity to find a nice shoulder opener with the strap. Pulling the arm back behind us. Back and forth a few times. Let's do a few more. And one more. Release the strap. We're gonna switch sides for our fan. So we're coming onto our left hip and fanning the legs out to the right. So our, excuse me, I'm trying to do yoga over here, girl. So our left shin is perpendicular with the side of the mat or the front of the mat, whichever way you're facing. Our block comes to the right side. Scoot down, Lily, so you can have your space. And strap comes in both hands. And we lean over to the right. So our right forearm rests on the top of the right block. Left arm over the left ear. And we can turn and look up towards our left forearm. If it feels difficult, too difficult to do, make the strap longer and then come into your side stretch. Take a few breaths. Nice, come up. This time, keep the strap in both hands. Left hand comes down to the left side, and we do that nice right shoulder opener, pulling the right arm back behind while holding the strap. Forward and back. Breathe as you do this. Let's take 3 more. And release. Nice, move the strap to the side for now. We're taking a cow face pose. So let's come into tabletop. I'm gonna cross my right knee behind my left knee, widen my feet out to the sides, come back and sit down between the heels. So my knees are stacked, sitting up nice and tall. Usually with cow face pose, you have a strap behind, so feel free to do that version of the stretch if you want. But for me, I'd rather just come forward down and lay on top of my left thigh, if that feels good. You can also take your block underneath your forehead and rest your forehead down. Feels like a nice deep opening in that left hip. She's so needy today. She's like me. Just like your mom. Let's take 4 more breaths. Slowly come up. I don't know if I did this last time when she was all over the mat when I was doing yoga, but she's one of those cats that just loves to get spanked. It's the funniest thing. Don't you, girl? Weirdo. So we're gonna come up nice and tall. We're gonna twist the left. Looking behind, I'm gonna cross my right arm in front of that left thigh to help me twist even deeper. All right, let's come forward. On our hands and knees, so we're gonna do the other side. So uncross the knees and then cross the left knee behind the right knee, widen the feet out either side and sit down between the heels. Another cow face pose. Again, if you like to do that arm opener, you can do the other side with a strap. One elbow up, one elbow behind and down. Or if you wanna do what I do, come forward and forward fold. You can bring the forehead down onto a block. Feel a nice deep stretch in that right hip. Deep breaths. Settling down into this pose. Take 3 more deep breaths. And slowly rise. We're going to twist to the right, reaching the right fingertips behind. Left arm presses into the top of the right thigh, and we twist to look behind. Nice. We're coming up. So our next pose is frog pose. So you want to grab your blanket for that, you may. I'm just going to use my mat. So, but if you do want to use your blanket, you can take your blanket and make it as long as you need to, so it covers both knees. For me, it would be like this probably. Actually, I'll just use it since I'm showing you it anyways. So I'm gonna start by facing the side of my mat. Widen my knees as wide as they feel good to go. My toes are facing away from each other and I'm on the inner part of my feet on the floor. You can stay just like this. You don't have to come down to your forearms. You don't have to come down any lower. If this already feels like a deep stretch in the hips and the groin for you, then that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you stay here, maybe you just kind of lean forward and back a little bit. If this doesn't feel great, you can also bring the heels closer together so that maybe you can come down a little bit easier. And if you come down, maybe you do pulse a little forward and back, or you find stillness. Maybe you do like the feet wide with the toes facing away. It just makes it a little bit deeper here. Stay here. Let's take 7 deep breaths to stay. Maybe even if you don't do big pulses forward and back, you do little ones, like so you can barely tell that you're doing them. But you can tell for sure. So if someone were watching you, they wouldn't be able to see really. Frog is a very intense pose. And it's a very, vulnerable pose, especially when, gravity's working against you here. Sometimes you feel like you might fall, and make the pose too deep. So you want to be careful and make sure that you're at a stable place in your frog. Let's take a couple more breaths. Nice. To come out, let's take one hand underneath each shoulder, so pressing up to straight arms. I'm going to lean forward a little bit and bring my feet closer together, and then just slowly walk my knees closer and sit on my shins for a breath or two. Maybe massage the front of my hips a little bit. Just using my hands. Nice. So next we're going to do a modified straddle split. Not going to get crazy here. It's going to be something we can all do. So we're going to sit on our block and we're going to face the side of our mat, and our block is going to be off the side of our mat so our feet can both be on it. Depends on how long your mat is. Mine's very long, so I can kind of get away with that. So we're sitting on the block off the mat and our feet are wide on the mat just because it would feel really bad on the heels. I'm just going to scoot my butt closer so I can move my heels further away from each other and get a deeper stretch. It's really up to you. If you feel it in the hamstrings, then you're doing it right, as long as you don't feel pain. So if you want to grab your block or your blanket, you can. You can walk the arms forward and down and rest your forehead on the block. Might feel good if the block is at the highest height. At least that feels good for me. You can also, instead of forward folding, you can just keep your hands straight, palms on the floor, and stay here. It's nice to flex the feet here. You don't have to. It's just a little bit easier to get a deeper stretch. Stay here, close the eyes, relax the jaw. Separate the molars. Rest your tongue, the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. From here, I want you to look over to the right. Bring your right fingertips down on the mat and press down into your fingers and twist and look to the right. Maybe you feel a slightly deeper sensation in that left hamstring. Very gentle, but it's noticeable. Maybe you feel an opening in that right side of the back. Other side, bring the right palm down. Left fingertips to the floor, press and turn and look to the left. Maybe you lean a little bit more into the right leg and feel a deeper stretch in the back of the right leg. Both hands come down, walk the hands over to your right foot. You might grab your strap for this. You might just reach your hands towards your right toes. It depends on where you are with your forward folds. You can bring both hands to the strap here if you do use the strap, or both hands to your foot, or you can bring the strap into the right hand and do a side stretch here. If you're not using the strap, you can just grab the big toe with your right fingers and do the side stretch this way. Take a few breaths to stay. And slowly rise, walk the hands to the other side. Maybe do both kinds of stretches since we have a couple of breaths to stay. Kind of explore it on your own. Notice what feels tight. Slowly come up. Keep the strap if you have it. Now, at this point, if you want to turn and have your feet on the mat going a long way, you can. I'm cool this way. Just my heels will be off the mat. I'm going to wrap my strap around my feet kicking out in front of me, and do a forward fold. I'm still seated on the block. Drop the head down, flex the toes up. Slowly come up with the strap to the side. From here, we're going to do almost like a half cow face pose. So I'm taking my right foot, I'm crossing it over my left thigh and stacking my right knee kind of on top of my left knee. Still seated on my block. And then I forward fold over my thighs. Hands on either side of my left leg. Flexing my left toes up. Maybe you don't come that far down because it's a deep fold. Maybe you come far down and you grab the foot. Rise and switch sides. Right leg is long. Cross that left leg over the right thigh. The foot is over to the right. Knees are kind of stacked here. And we forward fold, hand on either side of that right thigh or right leg. Maybe you drop the head down. Maybe you grab the foot. Slowly come up. Nice job. From here, bend the knees, bring the feet down to the floor, and just wrap your arms around your shins. Take a couple breaths. Lily's already tired. You can't see her, but she's just lazier than I am today. Nice. From here, we're going to come onto our tabletop, hands and knees. Moving the hips a little side to side. And from here, we're extending the right leg back. I'm tucking the left toes, pressing into the hands. Right toes are pointed down. And we can extend the left arm forward. We're going to pulse the arm and the heel in the sky for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Swing the arm to the left and the leg to the right. Kick it back, reach forward, and swing to the side again. Kick it back, reach forward. One more time. Reach forward, kick back, bend the knee, reach back, and grab that right foot. And open up that left shoulder. Lower it down. Hips move left and right. Nice. Left leg kicks back. Toes point down. Close the hip. Right arm reaches forward. We pulse for 10, lifting 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Swing the arm to the right, leg to the left. Kick it back, reach forward. Exhale to the sides. Inhale, forward and back. One more time to the sides. Forward and back, bend the left knee, reach back, grab it with the right hand. Open up the right shoulder. Nice. Slowly release down. Kick the right foot out and tuck the toes. Place the foot down on the floor. Kick back, pressing back into the right heel. Now take that foot and cross it over the left side of the mat. So you're going off the mat here and pressing back into the heels. Lower the knee down, left side, kick it back, press into the left knee. And lift, kick the leg across and over the other side, off the mat to the right. And bring it down. Let's tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths to stay here. Press down into the floor. Sink the heels down. Fingertips press. Hugging the elbows in. Look forward between the hands. And step one foot forward, excuse me, and the other. Forward fold. Heel to the feet so they're about hips width distance, maybe a little bit further apart. Grab opposite hand to opposite elbow. Sway a little side to side. Release the elbows. Inhale, halfway lift, Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Then one knee at a time. Bend both knees, coming into chair pose, Utkatasana, arms lift. Swing it so the hands face the ceiling. Behind the elbow faces the sky, externally rotating the arms. Sink down deeper. And press and stand. Inhale, reach the arms up. Tuck the tailbone. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back. Right knee lowers down. Swing the arms up, low lunge. Interlace the hands, press the palms down to that left thigh. Lower the shoulders, maybe a little back bend here, opening the chest. Let's bring the right hand down underneath the right shoulder. We're gonna tuck the back right toes, lift the right knee. We're gonna come on to that right side of the right foot and turn the left toes to the left side. You can place that left hand on the inner left thigh. You can heel toe that left foot further back if that doesn't feel great there. And just little tiny pulses of that right hip up and down. Don't place your left hand on top of the left kneecap, more towards the inner thigh. From here, we're gonna lean into that right hand even more and try to lift the left foot and bring it on top of the right foot for a side plank. For 3, 2, and lower the left hand, chaturanga, upward facing or cobra. Let's stay here actually for a couple breaths, unless you want to come right into your downward dog. I'm feeling this back bend here. I'm going to hug the elbows in, press the palms down, and look up. Press, lift into tabletop, and then downward facing. Left foot to center, right leg lifts up. Let's bend the knee and swing the hip around. Make little circles with the knee. And if you would like, you can turn and flip your dog. Reach the right arm to the sky. Right hand comes down, one-legged downward facing. Knee to nose. Inhale, reach it up. And leg comes forward, foot between the hands. Lower the left knee down, low lunge. Whew. Arms lift up. And interlace the hands again. Press down on top of the right thigh. I'm getting a hot yoga class today. That weird time where in New England it's like 80 one day, 85 the next, and then it's 60 and then 50. So you never know what you're gonna get. From here, let's have the hands come down on your fingertips. We're gonna lift the hips up and back and flex the right toes up towards the sky for a half split. You can forward fold over the right leg. If you'd like to use a block on either side, you can. Just like this. Unless you don't want to. Walk the fingertips a little closer in line with the right heel and lean back onto the right foot. Inhale back to that half split. Exhale onto the right foot. Again, moving forward and back with your breath. Would be a great time to use the blocks if you have two, but you don't need it. Let's all meet in the lunge with the right foot down. Tuck the back left toes and step it forward to meet the front. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. In your forward fold, just shake the head no a couple times, releasing the weight of the head. And nod the head yes. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, slowly roll to rise. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back, left knee lowers down. Arms up, low lunge. Interlace the hands, this time the opposite way that you did before, the last two times. Place them on top of the right thigh, little baby back bend, maybe starting to look up. Really starting to feel stretch in the front of that left hip. From here, we're gonna take the left hand down underneath the left shoulder. We're gonna come onto the back left toes and lift the left knee. Come onto the outer left edge of the left foot and turn the right toes to the right side of your room. I know it's a little weird for me to not be facing you here, but hopefully you're following along. I'm gonna heel toe my right foot so it's a little further towards the back of the mat. Pressing into the left hand even more. And pressing my right hand on my inner right thigh, just pressing the knee away gently. Now, one strong motion, bring that right foot and stack it on top of the left. Side plank. Stay here strong for 3, 2, and 1. Right hand comes down, high to low. Inhale, upward facing to downward facing. Take a few breaths. Right foot comes to center, left leg lifts. Bend the knee and make little circles with that left knee. Peel open the hip and maybe flip your dog. Reaching the left arm up. Press the hips up towards the sky. Maybe swing that left arm around. Coming back for one-legged downward facing. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. There's a quiz on that later. Draw the knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, step it through. Low lunge, right knee lowers. Interlace the hands opposite way that you normally do. Press on top of the left thigh. And breathe. Remembering why you're here. Connecting with the earth, with your body. You don't have to erase your thoughts. Maybe just try to slow them down and separate yourself from them as to not identify with the thoughts. Hands come down, fingertips to the floor, or grab both blocks. And we swing the hips up and back, left toes flip up for half split. It sounds a lot scarier than this pose is. Half split sounds like a lot, but this is pretty manageable. You don't have to have that leg totally straight. This is where a lot of people's half splits look like, right here. It can look just like this. If yours looks like this and you feel a stretch behind the left leg, then that's perfect, you're doing it right. It doesn't have to be totally straight, you don't have to lock the knee. That's just where I'm at today. But especially new yogis, it's definitely one of those tight areas that need to be unlocked with practice. And it happens, so be patient. Let's drop the head down towards the left knee. Maybe shake the head out a couple times. And lifting the head, sliding back onto the left foot. So the fingertips might come next to that left foot. And inhale, half split. Exhale forward. Breathe, coming back. And forward. Let's do it twice more. Lean back, half split. Low lunge. And half split. Low lunge. Tuck the back right toes, step the left foot, or step the right foot forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift again. And fold again. Bend the knees, press the feet into the floor and rise slowly. 3, 2, and reach up for 1. Arms lift up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. From here, we're going to forward fold. And step both feet back for downward facing dog. Bring the left foot to center and stack your right foot, your right toes on top of the left heel to encourage that left heel to become heavier towards the floor. Doesn't mean your heel has to touch the floor. You're just encouraging a deeper stretch in the calf and the hamstrings. So my knees are kind of locked together here. I'm just gently resting my right toes on my left heel. From here, we're going to lift that right leg up and step the right foot forward, starting with a low lunge. And then we're going to heel to the right foot to the top right corner of the mat. Right arm comes inside of the right leg, going into our dragon pose or lizard lunge. I'm going to untuck the back left toes. You can always come down onto a block here on your forearms, if that feels okay, or totally just on your forearms. If you have two blocks, it can be nice to have both at the highest height here, so you can focus more on the front of the left hip, if that's where you're feeling tight. Really, it's all about where you're at and what feels tight for you. Another option while you're in this pose is to bring the left hand down to look to the right and gently press the right knee away from you, coming onto the outer right edge of the right foot. Another option is to look back and grab the back left foot in a deep quad stretch, if you feel stretched out enough in the front of that left hip. Slowly release it. And the right foot steps back for plank pose. Lift the hips for downward facing. Right foot comes to center, and we're stacking the left toes on top of that right heel for the other side. Right heel is heavy to the floor, stretching out the back of the right leg. Breathing here. Let's take 2 more breaths. And lift the left leg up. Draw the knee to nose. And step it through. Low lunge, right knee lowers down. Heel to the left foot to the top left corner. Left arm comes inside. Find your lizard lunge here. Grabbing your blocks or not, coming onto forearms or staying on your hands. Maybe you do all of the above just to see how it feels. Kind of exploring this on your own. You know your own body better than anyone. Maybe you find movement to the music. You know, if you're looking for a more frequent home practice and you like the more meditative style of yoga, kind of like what we're doing today, a little bit slower, a little bit deeper, I highly recommend doom metal. I recommend it all the time anyways, but I think that it sets the pace nicely for a slow, deeper practice. And if you go online on our Spotify, we have a bunch of new playlists that are like 40 hours long, and they're spaced out based on what type of metal. So you can just throw one of those on too. Thanks. If you want, you can come into a deep quad stretch, reaching back and grabbing the foot. Taking a few breaths. Take one more deep breath. And slow release. Let's see what time we have. It's about, oh wow, it's already 7:16. So since it's like about time to stop, let's get our split practice in. So since we have that left foot forward already, let's keep it forward. I'm going to bring a block to either side. I'm going to start in a really deep low lunge. So I'm going to not heel toe, but I'm kind of going to bring my right knee back by tucking my right toes and lifting it and inching it back. Coming into as low of a lunge I can. Maybe I'll untuck the toes. Maybe I'll lower down the blocks a little bit. It really depends on how deep you can do this. Maybe start to flex the left toes up and kind of shimmy that left heel forward. Doesn't feel wonderful. Maybe pick it up. It's not the most graceful movements. And see how low you can go here. Once you get to your lowest point, see if you can stay and just let's take 3 breaths. That's it. Just long enough for you to notice what is the most tight in this pose. For me, it's my right front hip. Whew. Nice, slowly come out. Whew. A little bit of movement maybe. Then we're just gonna step the left knee back, right foot forward. Doing this on the other side, starting with a low lunge. Kind of just inching the right foot forward, left knee back. Doing what you feel comfortable with. Noticing how one side feels versus the other. Let's take 3 breaths to stay. And slowly come out. Maybe a little bit of movement as you come out of it. Whew. Nice. Let's come on and sit on the heels. Let's just sit on the heels, take a few breaths. Maybe you give yourself a little massage in the front of the hips. For me, that always gets the most obviously stretched out. Nice. Good work. We did the whole practice. Let's come on to our backs. Lily, this is your favorite part. Let me take a little nap. Resting all the way down. Maybe you take your arms out to the sides, palms facing up. Just to make your Shavasana a little different today. Close the eyes, take a deep breath in. A slow, steady exhale through the mouth. Deep breath in. Big exhale through the mouth. One more deep breath. And a slow exhale out. Stay and breathe. Your head is heavy. Your hips and glutes are totally relaxed. You're not engaging anything. You're not engaging the core, the feet, or the thighs. Release every muscle down into the floor. Letting yourself give in. letting yourself give in to gravity, letting yourself give in to the circumstances around you. You can stay here resting on your back as we end, unless you want to come up to a seat. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in and an audible exhale, sigh out. Bring your hands together at your heart or over your chest. Feeling a sense of gratitude to yourself for bringing yourself to your mat today. Leaving yourself time for yoga. The light and dark in me loves and honors the light and dark in you. And together we say, Namaste. Thank you all for joining me and Lily today. I hope you heard her just rubbing her head against me during Shavasana because she is the loudest purr. Aren't you, girl? You're so sweet. Little does she know she has to spend like 3 days in a car traveling from Boston to Austin. So she's not going to love that, but she'll get through it. I'll give you a second if you want to unmute yourselves.